Senator Cory Booker is a Democrat in New Jersey. He's a member of the Judiciary Committee in the Senate, and he joins me now. Senator, at one level, you could look at this reporting that they tried for this. Jeanine Pirro called in someone who'd worked for her in some other role, and it wasn't a line attorney, and they tried to bring these facially ridiculous cases, and they couldn't do it as sort of a hopeful story, like the system worked. But also, you seem pretty freaked out by it and upset by it. What's the takeaway in both directions?
Well, I'm seeing an abuse of the rule of law, abuse of the power of the justice system in ways that are stunning. And it didn't start with this incident. Remember, they arrested the mayor of my city. The judge laughed it out of court, but they put him in handcuffs. They detained him for hours. Even in our communities, we have a $75 billion funded secret police that are running around, and we see it in video after video. They are slamming American citizens to pavement. People who are pulling out cameras are being put into secret databases where their information is being stored and used in ways that are unjust and unconstitutional. We see them attacking members of the media with the arrest of Don Lemon in a way that we have never seen before. So we are now in this constitutional crisis where we have a Justice Department and a Department of Homeland Security that are using their police powers in ways most Americans never would be seeing. Even in the United States Senate, where I've seen Alex Padilla thrown to the ground and put in handcuffs, where Adam Schiff has trumped up charges where they're focusing on. Even the head of the Fed suddenly found himself under criminal investigation by the FBI. All of us should be alarmed by what is happening to our rights and to the Constitution. They're going after senators. They're going after people in our communities. It is, to me, a constitutional crisis.
You just mentioned the activities of Department of Homeland Security personnel, ICE, CBP, HSI, and others. There is this ongoing question about the path forward in terms of funding the Department of Homeland Security. It was taken out of the most recent funding legislation that was passed. There are negotiations happening. Democrats have given their sort of demands, which to my mind seem quite reasonable, even quite small bore, some people would critique them as. And the Senate Republicans seem to say these are non-starters, including they have to take the masks off. How are you thinking about this, and what are your red lines?
Well, to me, my red lines have been passed a long time ago. You have a reckless, out-of-control agency that is violating the rights of Americans, literally shooting and killing Americans unjustly. And my colleagues do not seem to be aggrieved by this. The small government conservatives don't think that this is in any way an overreach of executive power into the lives of community members. And to me, this agency we cannot give another dollar to an out-of-control, reckless agency. So I have no confidence that this negotiation is going to end well tomorrow, and I think it's going to I hope it's going to result in Democrats staying strong and not giving another continuing resolution, not moving forward while we have this kind of crisis, this kind of unleashed, unrestrained, unaccountable agency recklessly violating people's rights in neighborhoods from California to New Jersey, from Minnesota, all the way down to Texas. We have to stop this. And again, we are seeing daily, unfortunately, people being injured, Americans being injured, being restrained by this agency. I'm worried about what's happening tonight, not to mention if the Senate tries to move forward for another week, let people go on recess while this unrestrained agency is doing such harm to our communities.
Obviously, the leadership for all of these agencies emanate from the president. But, there have been people who've called for Kristi Noem to resign or for her to face impeachment, particularly after what she said and what people at DHS put out about the two Americans, Alex Preddy and Renee Good, that were shot and killed by their own government, accused of being domestic terrorists posthumously. People have also called for the same. Pam Bondi, you're on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I know it wasn't your hearing today over in the House, and I don't know how much you watch, but I said this earlier in the show, I was just struck by the strangeness, the weirdness, I don't have the right words to describe what the performance was like, but what did you think?
Well, look, I've told my colleagues today that I feel like we're a frog in boiling water, where we are a nation that are seeing unconscionable things happening that we in Congress are normalizing. we all saw with our own eyes, Alex Preddy being shot and killed. The video was clear, and yet you see leaders within the Trump administration, like Kristi Noem, running to label them a domestic terrorist, somebody trying to protect another human being, somebody trying to do what is his power to do in the Constitution, hold accountable these agencies. And so I think we are in a constitutional crisis. I think Congress is ruptured. I think the Senate, and we'll see what happens tomorrow, is broken. And I'm hoping more and more people are going to start stepping forward to say enough is enough. And I hope that the Senate begins to try, Senate Democrats, after this, what I think is going to fail tomorrow, begin to step up with different tactics and strategies to stop this constitutional crisis and try to save citizens from this secret police and from other government officials like Kristi Noem and others that are doing such unconstitutional things that are resulting not just in rights being violated, but literally in people being killed.
Senator Cory Booker, thank you for making some time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you.